Right. Hello, chiropractors, slayers of subluxation, unleashers of the imprisoned impulse. I'm Dr. Anthony Pellegrino from ChiroEdge, and welcome to the Chiropractic Research Breakdown, where we break down the most relevant chiropractic science and philosophy to empower you with the ammo and certainty needed to change your community from the inside out. I am excited to go over some info with you this week. And the reason that I'm excited is because we are not going to be going over any chiropractic research. I repeat, we are not going to be going over chiropractic research. We are going to be going over research from the Medical Science Monitor on epilepsy in what I like to call a bridge article. Now, the nice thing is about, in chiropractic, one of the things that I say in practice, and one of the things that so many of us say is, the cause is the cure. And you hear people repeat that all the time. But the fact is that when we actually understand why something occurs, we can understand and choose what it is that we're going to do about it. And the medical profession has really taken this to heart, honestly, especially when it comes to neurological concerns like autism, ADHD, and especially recently with epilepsy. So from the Medical Science Monitor, we're going to be reviewing an article called Efficacy and Safety of Treatment with Transcutaneous Vagus Nerve Stimulation in 17 patients with refractory epilepsy evaluated by electroencephalogram, or EEG, seizure frequency, and quality of life. Now, what they looked at, as you can tell by the title, was 17 people who experienced refractory epilepsy. Now, when they go ahead and they define this, is they say that for people with epilepsy, with seizures, clinical treatment with anti-epileptic drugs is the first line of treatment for epilepsy, which sounds nuts to me because, drugs and surgery there, last resort, not first option, but hey, whatever. So, clinical treatment with anti-epileptic drugs is the first treatment for epilepsy, which can be effective in a whopping 59% of patients who have a new onset of epilepsy. 59% of patients. It's unbelievable. 59% of patients, and that's the first line of treatment, resulting in control of seizures, but approximately 25% of those patients are refractory to anti-epileptic drug treatment and suffer from further seizures. Now, as principled as you are, as philosophical as you are, I'm sure each of you guys who are watching this has had that very analytical practice member who's asked you during their report of findings or whatever it is, even though you've talked about function, you haven't really talked about, addressed their symptoms, talked about function, but quality of life, everything like that, who's come back and said, yes, well, what is your success rate with this? And you're like, well, the power that made the body heals the body, and your body's designed to function, so your ability to function, it always improves free from subluxation. Whatever it is that you say, obviously I'm kidding there. What if your response was, Mrs. Jones, actually our success rate with your low back pain is less than 60%, and about 25% of the time, it's actually going to get worse. Do you think she's going to sign on to care? Yet with epilepsy, we just accept that. 59% success rate with our first line of treatment, which is anti-epileptic drugs, and about 25% of those are going to get worse. So that's Big Pharma's response, and that's what they want. But believe it or not, medical doctors are getting sick of this. They want to see things that actually work. They want to have success rates with their patients, and they actually, believe it or not, they want to see less invasive things actually work. So what they're looking at is stimulation of the vagus nerve. Well, why? Because the balance of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, they know that hyperactivity of the sympathetic system, underactivity of the parasympathetic system, which is largely regulated by the vagus nerve, that imbalance is going to relate to things like epilepsy. So if we know that one side, the parasympathetic side, is not functioning enough, if we stimulate that, well, it's going to improve. Now, they say that patients with epilepsy that is refractory to drug treatment, remember it gets worse, may choose treatment with craniotomy, or that's a surgery that, removes part of this cranium, ketogenic diet in a medical journal, crazy, transcranial magnetic stimulation, or neural regulation using vagus nerve stimulation or other treatment methods. Some patients may be unsuitable for surgical treatment or choose not to undergo because they don't feel like having a portion of their skull removed. And the use of ketogenic diets is more suitable for children with refractory epilepsy than adults because keto is hard. So anyway, what they did was they did transcutaneous vagus nerve stimulation, which is on top. It's not an implant or anything like that. They stimulate the vagus nerve in order to balance and stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. What they found was, and this is amazing, is reduction of frequency in seizures. And this is a direct quote. However, the present study not only evaluated the effects of transcutaneous vagus nerve stimulation treatment on reducing frequency of seizures and improving EEG findings, which they did, but patients also completed the self-rating anxiety scale, self-rating depression scale, and the Liverpool seizure severity scale, and quality of life in epilepsy inventory, and the Pittsburgh sleep quality index during the 6-month period. So that's self-rated anxiety, depression, seizure severity, quality of life, and sleep, and saw those improve as well simply by stimulating the vagus nerve. Now, what does this have to do with chiropractic? Well, we have the medical profession, people who are seeking to find a better way using more advanced medical techniques, procedures, things. We are having these people basically justify, from Beijing, what chiropractors have been saying for the last 120, I don't want to do math, years. That the function of the nervous system, the balance of the nervous system, relates to quality of life, especially with these neurological things. If we, somehow could analyze for interference or irritation in the nervous system, and gently, specifically, and scientifically correct the cause of that interference to allow the body to function better, to take tension off the nervous system, specifically the vagus nerve, which passes by the first cervical vertebra of the atlas. If we could somehow, correct the cause of interference, irritation, or improper function of the vagus nerve, maybe, just maybe, very gently, specifically, scientifically, you might see these people improve. I don't know. Can you guys think of something that's been going on that does that literally the whole point of the profession is? Oh yeah, guys, it's chiropractic. What's going to cause imbalance on the vagus nerve? Imbalance in the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system? Well, it's not going to be joint dysfunction, believe it or not. What it's going to be is, dare say it, subluxation. Yeah, I said it, subluxation. And it's not going to be, believe it or not, a manipulation that improves that. What it's going to be is it's going to be an adjustment. An adjustment that takes pressure, takes tension off of the nervous system, allows the body to heal, allows the brain to better control and coordinate, allows better balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, which we have research that shows that we have via heart rate variability. Tons of research, thanks to people like David Fletcher, who is amazing over at Insight. Great research that shows that chiropractic improves heart rate variability, which is literally measuring that balance. So, why does Big Pharma hate us? Because we're not using drugs to do the things that are or to do the things that are going to improve this. We're not going to be using drugs to do this. Because medical doctors are getting sick of it. They don't want us to give people the drugs have a 60% success rate, and have with that 60% success rate, see a quarter of people get worse. They don't want to see that. What human being wants to see that, guys? They're not evil. They want what's best for their patients. They just don't know that it's oftentimes us. That regardless of symptom, they should be getting checked to make sure that these things are in balance, to make sure the nervous system's functioning well, because it's in the best interest of each and every one of their patients. So I just hope that gives you guys some certainty this week. If you guys go, we're going to have memes up on the ChiroEdge page. We have for our subscription members this information as well as 2 other studies in easily digestible patient newsletter format for you to hand out, for you guys to stimulate referrals, for you guys to educate your practice members, hand that out every day, some good talking points for table talk, etc. You guys can get a free trial of that at chiroedgemedia.com. I appreciate you all. I love you all. I really do. Not in a weird way. And keep slaying those subluxations, Doc. Thank you.